Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and welcome to Leave It Air, the show where we talk about the three big talking points from the Premier League weekend. You can get your three in below and we discuss it. Leave It Air. Right, first thing, Arsenal exposed. I tell you what, I don't know what it is about Arsenal, but no wonder Liverpool won the league last year, because Liverpool Football Club, whatever you say about them, they're very supportive of their team. They will be critical of the things that go on, but there's a lot of support around it. Looking at Arsenal yesterday, and it's not just the media, it's also some of their fans. They're so bloody miserable and negative. I tell you what, that result for Arsenal yesterday was absolutely fantastic. You cannot move in the UK for criticism and moaning and negativity, and Arsenal were poor, and Gyokeres was a bad signing. And that's from Arsenal fans. It's incredible. Not all Arsenal fans, of course, but it has become a stain on the name of Arsenal. And I do pose the question, as I did last season, why is it Arsenal get so much criticism from so many people? And I can't understand it. I've said this for years. Mikel Arteta, whether you like him or not, has done a steady build of a football club that was in the mud. When Arsene Wenger left, that football club was about as low as it could get, and nothing worked afterwards. They haven't won the title since, 2004? 21 years. Arteta has gradually got you about as close as you've ever been, and he's built an entire squad now. Your first game of the season, you go to Manchester United, away from home, and you come away with a 1-0 win, built on your brilliant defence, which has been the best defence in the Premier League for the last 2 years. Gyokeres did look rustier than a bike that's been left out all winter, but so did Saka. Declan Rice didn't have his best game. There are a lot of things for Arsenal to solve, but I would rather be in Arsenal's situation than most other clubs in the Premier League, bar probably Liverpool. So Arsenal, and look at Arsenal's next 4 games. They're all at home. They've got Leeds at home, then they go to Anfield, then they've got Forest at home, then they've got Man City at home. That 3 points against United yesterday is huge for them in their points tally after 5 games, when they'll have played Man United away, Liverpool away, and Man City. They've put themselves in a brilliant position by getting that result. And very few teams are going to hit the ground running after pre-season. Match sharpness you cannot get in pre-season. We've seen it this weekend. What came back that we didn't see in pre-season? VAR, ridiculous decisions, whatever you want to call it. Competitiveness, that knife-edge football that you just can't get. Newcastle Villa, on paper, great game. Play it in the middle of October, great game. Playing it as the opening weekend game at 12:30, absolute snorefest. So I think in relation to Arsenal, the thing that I've learned, again, and should have remembered it, is that whatever Arsenal do, the criticism is there. And I will say this, they didn't commit a foul on Bindi yesterday. PGMOL made this okay when it happened to James Trafford against Luton just after Christmas 18 months ago. And ever since then, Arsenal have taken advantage of it. So shame on Bindi for making that mistake. Arsenal took advantage of it. United tried to do it to Raya, actually, and he punched it away. As for the Gyokeres situation, look, it amazes me how I listen to Match of the Day and everybody else talking about Gyokeres, and they don't realise that he spent time playing for Coventry in the Championship. They've got no knowledge of this player at all. They're judging him on probably that hour they saw him yesterday and a few highlights. He's rusty because he hasn't had a pre-season. Brian Mbeumo had more of a pre-season than Gyokeres, and he's still getting up to speed as well. This is the quickest and most demanding league in the world. You cannot just walk off a Mallorcan beach and be fit in 2 weeks. It's going to take longer than that. But he will score, he will bang goals 100%. The second thing I wanted to talk about is that I think it's very, very obvious following on from that it's going to be Arsenal, Liverpool and Man City going for this Premier League title. How can you say that after one game? Because they've all got very good coaches, they've all got very good squads, and they've all got the know-how how to win games. And Chelsea showed literally in the first game of the season at home against Crystal Palace, they still haven't mastered the ability of the consistency of getting those wins. If you look at Chelsea's performance against Crystal Palace, it was better than that of Arsenal at Old Trafford. Arsenal walk away with 3 points. Chelsea draw. Crystal Palace are a very, very good, well-organised, well-coached side. But Chelsea need to be winning those games if they want to put themselves in a title race or in a top 3 race. Now, I'm not saying Chelsea can't finish in the top 3. What I'm saying is until they overcome that experience. And Chelsea is and has shown immense growth over the last 12 months, culminating in the Club World Cup. But they are still a young side. And that policy of buying under 23 or under 23s is absolutely fantastic if it works. But what it doesn't give you the Thiago Silvas. It doesn't give you the John Terrys. It doesn't give you the Frank Lampards. It doesn't give you the Drogbas. It doesn't give you the know-how. They're still going to learn. And if they keep them, when they're all 26, they might dominate football for 5 years. But at the moment, I still think they lack that know-how to turn a tough home game against Palace into a win. So I think the three will be Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal. I also think my third point, and actually this is meant to be, leave it at the three big talking points of the weekend. It's not VAR actually. I've got to do a couple of shout outs. I thought Ref Watch had been got rid of, by the way. It's not VAR. I will have a pop at VAR out throughout the season. If you know that's football, you know that's guaranteed. But actually, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but every bad decision I saw this weekend, I sort of went, well, what do you expect? Everyone votes to keep it. Everybody wants it. You know, there was no apology to Aston Villa for a goal they scored against Manchester United on the final day of the season that would have got them in the Champions League. There's been no apology for that at all. It's just swept under the carpet. And when you see these things happen over the last couple of years that just get swept under the carpet, I can't sit here on a Monday morning and say Man United should have had a penalty on Cunha. I can't sit here and say I can't believe the Bournemouth defender didn't get sent off for playing netball. Or I can't believe, Crystal Palace's goal was disallowed. I can believe it because this is what we've allowed to happen to the game. So I don't know over the season when my next VAR blowout will be, but I felt this weekend every bad decision I saw, and there was some, I sort of like went, well, what do you expect? Because nobody does anything about it. It's a dictatorship. My third point, and it very clear, I'm going to give it, but the one that nearly became my third talking point was, are we about to get the break of 2 years in a row from 3 up, 3 down? But it's way too early. And what I mean by that is the three teams that have been promoted have gone straight back down the last 2 years. Are we about to get a change? It's way too early to say that after one game. Fantastic result for Sunderland, but if you watch the highlights, West Ham did have chances at 0-0, and that could change. So Sunderland have got a lot of work to do. We haven't seen Leeds yet. Burnley got smashed, of course. And Brentford looked really poor. I just want to see some of these newly promoted teams actually give us a relegation race. I'd love one of them to stay up, but it's too early to really bring that as a big talking point. My third talking point of the day is I think 5th place is incredibly open. Newcastle look good and they will be better when they've got strikers. Aston Villa look like they're still on holiday. Spurs have started fantastically well under Thomas Frank, but it is only Burnley. They go to Man City on Saturday. We'll learn a lot more about them. Manchester United, all right, people say no chance. I've just mentioned Spurs. Spurs finished below Man United. So it makes me laugh that people are putting Spurs in the top 5 race, but they finished below Man United. So Man United can be there, still got a lot of problems, played well against Arsenal. And then you've got the collective of the other clubs that could do it. Nottingham Forest have bought well. Could a Bournemouth, a Fulham or a Brighton get up there again? So I think 5th place is going to be really, really interesting. But overall, I thought it was a fantastic opening start to the Premier League. There was the rustiness. There was a couple of drab games. But also, I think it's just going to go up a level with every passing game over the next few weeks. And I'm very excited about it. And I think that in relation to the title race, you look at Liverpool 2-0 up against Bournemouth, back to 2-2. You think, oh my God, opening game. They find that ability to win. You look at Man City against Wolves, dominant away performance, really sending a message. You look at Arsenal, scrappy goal, don't really do anything after that, but their strong defence holds out to get 3 points at Old Trafford that they didn't get last year. And I think if you're Mikel Arteta, he probably looks at that and goes, you know what? That is something that we struggled with last year. We drew too many games. And I think Arsenal are going to need to be strategic. And that's why I think sometimes they do get called out way too much. They do get left exposed by everybody having a pop at them. Arsenal have to learn to turn those draws into wins. Look at last season, Brighton with the Declan Rice sending off. Bournemouth, where it wasn't a draw, they actually lost with Saliba sent off. There were so many of those early drops of the points and then it continued afterwards. They've got to turn them into wins. And look, I think Arsenal could well be in a very strong position. 3 of their next 4 games at home. One of them's Man City, where you've got to send a message in that game again. And ultimately, Anfield game after next. Look, again, if they can go there and not get beat, it's a very good start to the season. Give me your thoughts, get your topics in below. I want to know your 3 big talking points from the weekend. This is a new thing I want to do this season, and I want to read some of yours as well and see what you've got to say. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'll speak to you on the next one.